And now that all that is squared away, it is my pleasure and obligation to kick things off with some housekeeping. NNPN's showcase is less than a month away. We hope you will join us in Queens for that. I'm popping the registration link in the chat. And also, if you can't wait another month, that's okay. Tomorrow night, from the comfort of your own home, you can watch our showcase finalists read their work in our virtual playwrights slam. That link is also in the chat now. It's going to be a super fun, casual way to get exposed to some super awesome plays that you won't get to see in April. So if you really want to make sure you're getting as many showcase plays as possible, join us tomorrow night. And then the last thing, you're like, gosh, Anne keeps dropping links into the chat. My goodness, this is the one link to rule them all. This is NNPN's member theater link tray. If you want to register for showcase, if you want to come to our finalist slam, if you want literally anything you need for NNPN, start at the link tree and you'll be able to find the support you need. So we really recommend bookmarking that link tree. Okay, that's all my housekeeping. Thank you for bearing with me. Now going to share my screen and invite us into our pitch session, which is an opportunity for y'all to share plays that you're stoked about, to find new plays that might be a good fit for you, and just to meet one another and build connections. That's what we're here to do. If you are here to pitch, please read over these bullet points to get a sense of what it is that we encourage you to include in your pitch. If you are not pitching, we really want to get to know you as well. So our prompt for our non-pitchers this month is for you to tell us about a new play that your theater produced that your audience still talks about. What is that play they won't shut up about? And then also if there's anything specific that you're looking for as you plan your next season, if you're like, I really need a two-hander comedy about climate change, maybe someone else in this Zoom room has got you. So just take a moment to take all this in. And then the next slide I'll share. This is a word cloud that has been generated over the last, 6 months or so of pitch sessions. We've asked folks to share what are things that make them want to learn more about a play. And so I offer it as a resource as you think about pitching. Know that these are some of the qualities and concerns that our member theaters have as they look for plays, and maybe one or two of these pop for you and seem aligned with the plays that you're pitching. Really lean into the audience for the play you're pitching or the form of the play you're pitching, right? So again, I'll just leave this up here for another second or two. Great. Okay. If you are pitching and you have to leave early, please raise your hand so we can make sure that we get your pitch in. And if you have more than one play to pitch, please only pitch one, and then at the end we'll circle back around and catch your second. That's all from me. Who wants to pitch? Jay, take it away.
Oh, wow, that was so fast. Please forgive me. This is my first pitch, so I'm going to give it my best shot. Oh, I blush. Thank y'all. Y'all are so supportive. So the play that I'm going to be talking about today is The Wash by Calandra Smith. To my knowledge, there's a cast size of 6. Stefan is partnering with us with Prop Theater on this play. For this play, we're so excited to produce it A little background. So the Wash follows a Black laundress and her fellow people in the workforce as they initiate the washerwoman strike of 1881. Historically, this is very exciting for me. This is one of my favorite pieces of history. But the washerwoman strike, for those of you who don't know, it was the first interracial strike after the Civil War. So that means it was Black women and white women fighting for the right to be paid fairly for their labor as laundresses in the South. They were the only ones doing this very hard labor. It wasn't like how we wash clothes now. They were taking buckets to rivers, bringing in sheets, a very difficult work. And this play, what I love about this play is that it tells that story and what it looks like for those women to have to join forces in that very difficult time. But what we plan to achieve by doing this play and producing this play, we feel like this is a conversation and a story that needs to be seen and had. We're currently, all of us, all Americans today, and people who are not Americans as well, we fight in the labor force every day to prove that we deserve the money that we work for. And this is a constant conversation that keeps happening. I feel like our audience, we mainly support people who are Black and brown on the south side of Chicago. They need to learn this history. It is their history. It is the birth of the civil rights movement in plenty of ways. And anything I'm missing? No? Any questions? Y'all are great. Let me know if there's any information that I'm missing on the list. I wasn't aware that I had to have this much.
Jay, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What is the tone of the story? Is it pure drama? Is there some lighthearted? Is it a dark comedy? How is that style?
Oh, great. Thank you so much for asking. So I would say that it is a very serious, it's serious in tone, but there are moments of levity. There are moments where the women get to joke and sing and interact with each other. And something that we're very interested in, because the play takes place on the washing line, there are elements of breezes and sheets and things so that we get a feel of their day. And also we can have those moments of brevity because we all find community in our work. We all find those things. And these women did eventually have bonds and friendships. So there is levity in the script. It's not very heavy, I would say.
Thanks for that. I'm also going to lift up that the script is not on New Play Exchange. So Jay or Stefan, if you can put a contact in the chat, Jonathan is inquiring about reading it.
Let me see if I can do that.
And while you're, and I think just sort of an email or contact info in the chat should do the trick. Great, Stefan, thank you. Other things that I can share, it is also, the play is also being produced by Synchronicity in Atlanta. So there is real traction toward a role for this. If you're like, I would like to know more, good news for you. The Wash was a finalist for Showcase. So come on over Zoom room tomorrow night, get a sneaky preview. Great. Any other questions for Jay about the Wash? Okay. Thank you. Who's next? Nisa.
I thought I had pitched this play at a previous pitch session, but then I saw that I hadn't even put it on the New Play Alert. So clearly I certainly didn't show up and pitch it. So I'm thrilled to talk about Sharon Rothstein's Bad Books, which will be at Showcase next month. So if you're going to be at Showcase, you'll have the opportunity to enjoy a reading of it directed by our artistic director, Ryan Roulette, who will also be directing our production of it a year from now as part of our annual New Play Festival. Bad Books is a two-person cast, two women. It's one of those plays, if you've got sort of those two top female actors in your community, this is a great vehicle for them. So we did a reading of it in last year's festival, and immediately it was one of those plays that I had staff, audiences, other artists coming up and saying, so when are you going to produce this play? So it's a two-hander that is centered around a conflict between a mother and a librarian. The mother comes into the library to complain about a book that her teenage son was given by the librarian. And so it is nominally primarily centered around sort of, conversations around book banning and what it is to care for children, this conflict between parents' rights and the fact that we live in a community. However, also it touches on teen pregnancy and abortion and gun control in a way, like I think this is one of the strongest things about the play, that never feels like a laundry list of issues. It is simply like it's an organic, very natural and human-centered look at all of these intersecting and sometimes conflicting big challenges of living in a society together. All of that in a container that is very, very funny and lends itself to all sorts of theatrical explorations. It's one play that I'm very, very excited about for quite some time. Sharon's writing is she writes for Suits, so it is great dialogue. It is a great balance of poignancy and humor throughout. And it's a two-hander that can be done on a minimal set. So I think it's a really good play for folks to be looking at this moment in time. And again, for us, sort of one of the things that always draws Roundhouse to plays are the conversations that it allows. And this is a play that really is built to encourage and empower civil discourse in a way that is, I think, really great for this moment in time. So I love this play. I think everybody should do this play. It'll be at Showcase. I'm happy to send the script. I will drop my email into chat. Happy to answer any other questions about it.
Amazing. Thank you, Nathan. Any questions about that book?
And I said, yeah, I think I said, so we'll be producing it a year from now. We start rehearsals at the beginning of March 2025, opening April 7th, 2025. So that's in terms of the timeline for getting ducks in a row. But yeah, so we have committed to producing it. And I feel confident that we'll be able to make a role happen. So.
Yes, indeed. And I love the long lead time on this one, that if you want to be part of a role, you would have until October of 2026 to mount your production. So you've got almost a year to jump on the roll, another year and a half to be part of a production. Awesome. Yeah, and come see it at Showcase, obviously. Who else has something to pitch? Joel.
All right, since we're on the subject of books, I want to pitch a play that New Jersey Rep is doing. Let's see, we're opening it July 11th and we start rehearsals June 19th. It's a play called The Bookstore. And it's about, and I've jotted all these notes down because, Jay, I know this was your first time pitching. This is about my 10th time pitching and I seem to be getting worse and worse at it. So I have a whole bunch of notes that are jotted in a random way. So I'm going to try to make sense of this. So please bear with me as I continue my descent in pitching. All right, The Bookstore is about an old-fashioned New York brick and mortar bookstore and how its owner is trying to survive in a world that's increasingly impersonal and Amazoned. It revolves around a woman in her 50s who has run the bookstore for years, and she serves as a mentor and a kind of mother figure to her 3 young employees. And she has a secret that she's keeping from them, and we wonder how it's going to impact the future of the store. Michael Wallach is the author. It's got 4 characters, 3 women, 1 male, 1 set. The bookstore is the set. And let's see, I think it's a comedy with serious overtones. But mostly it's a comedy, and a comedy about community. So if anyone has any questions, I just checked and it's not on the New Play Exchange. So I will leave you my email address if anyone is interested in taking a look at it. Any questions?
Could you repeat the title, please, and thank you?
Yes, The Bookstore by Michael Wallach, Wallek. And I'll put my email in the chat. And thank you. That wasn't that bad, right?
No, that was great, Joel. That was great. And just to say the math out loud, anyone interested in being a part of a roll and roll premiere of this would need to commit by that first rehearsal in June, and would have until January of 2026 to mount their production. Who's next? Jonathan.
So I'm pitching again a play I pitched before, but I have news, which is that our playwriting fellow Finesia Farrell from 2022, she came on as our fellow for 6 months and conceived and developed a play called The Waterfall, which we then, in collaboration with the Old Globe in San Diego, held a workshop of. And we found out last week that she has won the Kennedy Center's Lorraine Hansberry Award for playwriting. So we're kind of over the moon about that. It's a really big deal for us. And the play is really moving. It's a 2-hander. It's about the immigrant experience. I will paste the link into the chat if I haven't been beat to that already. It's a mother-daughter piece, and the mother is recovering from an aneurysm, and the daughter is an adult professional, and she's kind of adrift in her life and what she wants. And there are the natural tensions that everybody knows in that mother-daughter relationship. What's different, and what I don't want to lead with, actually, because I've seen people say, oh, I don't know if we have the audience for that. They're Haitian American women. I don't think it's a play that demands a Haitian American audience. I think this is a play that everybody can respond to. So that's just kind of like the side benefit, that like we get to discover characters of Haitian American ancestry, working through these issues in a pretty straightforward family drama that has some surprises to it. Like some of the other plays that have been talked about today, 2-hander, minimal set. I think it's an incredible opportunity, and having worked with Finesia now since 2021, I cannot recommend this individual any more highly than it's just been a glorious experience to work with her, and she's become one of my dearest friends, and I would not hesitate to recommend working with her to anyone in the network. I'm just going to paste in one more time too my first play, The Flathead Lake Monster. It's really weird. It's about Mormons and monsters, and it's a 6-hander and pretty easy to produce. So I'll just drop that in there and then say no more about it.
Thank you, Jonathan. And does Rodenstone have any plans at present to produce either of these plays, or still TBD?
We are on hiatus in 2024. We are looking to move the company into another market because of various reasons, but our market's fairly small in Ridgefield, Connecticut. And if we move 12 miles down the road, we've got access to great transportation and a much larger market. So we're working on that right now, and I'll have updates for you as soon as I know.
Amazing. That sounds very exciting and also potentially challenging. So I wish you luck with all that. Any questions for Jonathan about either the waterfall or Flathead Lake Monster? Great. Thanks,
Thank you.
Jonathan. Who's next? Is anybody, just want to make space for anybody who is off screen, off mic. If you want to jump into the chat, now is your moment. Nora, do you have a pitch or are you hearing pitches today? Where are you at?
I am hearing pitches today for Horizon. We are still in process of solidifying our upcoming season. I can share that we had great success last season with the musical Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812. It was the first time it was produced in this part of the country, and we had people coming from all over to see it. So we remounted it after the holidays for another 6-week run. And since then have been working on a lighting project. So that's why we are a little just on a different schedule this year with our season. One thing that I can share, if it's of interest, we have applied for the rights for, but are waiting to see if we can get a play called, and I apologize, the artistic director just forwards all these things to read. I don't know where she gets them from, the various places, so I'm sorry if it's not a part of this. But it's a great play. We all love it. So we're trying to get the rights. It is called, I was making all my notes too, because I've read like 25 plays this week. Laughs in Spanish by Alexis Shear. Sorry if everyone's already familiar with it. I don't know, but it just came across our desk from our friends at Theater Squared. I know Stages in Houston is doing it, and it is hilarious. It is touching. It is a wonderful piece for Latino and Latina actresses. Obviously, we need the appropriate creative team behind it, which is something we're also seeing if we can piece together in order to do it. Just wanted to put that on everyone's radar. It's a wonderful show. I can say that we are looking for, one thing that we're looking for is, I have been given the sense that it would be preferred if everything has either a lightheartedness or a warm-heartedness or a hopeful resolution, regardless of the tone at the end. And we are looking specifically for a strong piece for African Americans, preferably by an African American female writer, to put within our season. Again, it can be a drama, but the desire is that it leaves the audience at least hopeful at the end to tie into our mission. So if anyone has some recommendations for something that fits along that line, maybe in a 2 to 8 person cast, I would love to hear that. And thank you for everything you've shared so far. I have made a lot of notes, so thank you. I'll stop talking now.
No, that's great, Nora. Thank you. Laughs in Spanish by Alexis Shear, part of NNPN's 2020 virtual showcase. We love to see showcase plays having future lives in all forms. So yeah, if you don't already know that play, do check that out. Want to lift up from the chat as well. I'm going to go in reverse order. Jonathan loved The World to Come by Ali Viterbi. That's another one you can see at Showcase. So if you haven't already made plans to join us in Queens in April, get on it. Irene shares about what she's working on at Olney, a touring production called Avaz. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that properly. So she's shared a link so you can learn more. Is listening as Company One just kicked off rehearsals for the April world premiere of Morning, Noon, and Night by Kirsten Greenidge, also a showcase finalist with a different play. Dusty lifting up Jacqueline Goldfinger's Bottle Fly. Yes, yes, yes. I know there's been a lot of love in the network for this play. Just need a couple folks to formally commit to see about getting a role going. So if you don't already know that play, Dusty, is there an NPX link you can drop in the chat there? If not, I can take a look.
Yeah, I can do.
Thank you. Amazing. Great, friends. We are, I'm game to let you go early, but this is like no more pitches and it's just past half the hour. So I want everyone who did pitch, now I would like to know about a new play that your theater did that your audiences won't shut up about. So I'm gonna throw that. Nathan, wow. Okay, take it
This
away.
is such an easy question. So last year's New Play Festival, we did Jennifer Who Is Leaving by Morgan Gould, which we had also was one that we had done a reading of the previous year. And it was also like Bad Books, one of those ones that like from the second the reading finished, we were getting people demanding us to produce it. It is a play that is very, very, very near and dear to my heart, and I think is a highlight of my personal career. But it is also one that, like, again, at our last board meeting, I had a trustee come up still gushing about it. Like, it is a play that has very much stuck with our audiences. I think because it was both deeply relatable. I think it's one of those plays that, like, so it's about expectations of caretaking that are placed on women. And, any man in a relationship, or, frankly, any son, any man who has a woman in his life that doesn't leave that play feeling a little crappy about themselves is lying to themselves. And I think that most women look at it and like, yep, I'm not alone. And so, like, it is a play that it is deeply relatable while also being incredibly funny and deeply human. And so I think all of that adds up to really, really sticking with people.
Amazing. Thank you. And you got a cosign in the chat from Irene. Great. Who else has a new play that Jay? Yeah.
That's so exciting. First of all, congratulations, friend. I would say the play that we did last year, that was our new play, I'm super proud of. Background on our company, Perceptions Theater, we're going into our 5th year. We started at the height of COVID. So our first 3 years, we were a virtual playhouse. But last year we had our first in-person show, which was Panther Women. We got to be part of the whirling world premiere of Panther Women. It's our biggest show to date. We had a lot of press, and our community is so they love this piece. I think it speaks to them. It is about the women of the Black Panther Party specifically. Around the show, we were able to do talkbacks. We had Black Panthers come to talk to us, which was really great. And our community got to benefit from having that. We did, oh yes, India, written by India Burton. Thank you so much, friend. Yes, and India has been fantastic. She'll also be in our summer Rhino Fest that we're doing with Prop to introduce some new work that she's been working on. But the show has been so popular that we're remounting it. We'll be doing it again this summer. So that's exciting. We're doing a limited release for about a month in June. So if you guys are in Chicago and you want to see, let us know. But that's my time.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you. Anybody else have something they want to share that their audiences won't stop talking about? Joel, I saw you unmute. Did you have something you wanted to share? You're thinking about it.
Well, the play I was thinking about was the one that we had a Rolling World premiere with, which was Welcome to Madison by Inda Craig Galvan, and a wonderful play about about race, about class, about community, and about how people sometimes just can't get along as hard as they try. But it's a wonderful, wonderful comedy. It's just fantastic. And I did read the Jumping Off Point also, which is fantastic. She's a great writer.
Also, just to name, to keep tying threads together, Welcome to Matson was part of NNPN's 2021 showcase in Indianapolis, featuring Ansa in the cast.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
knew he was a producer in residence. Did you know he was an actor? Great.
Yeah. It was great. I'll co-sign everything everyone has said. And all the plays speak to a amazing ability to bring those tough subjects together. Yeah.
Great. Anybody else, either from our chat? Oh no. I'm excited to hear about the potential for commercial production. That's good to hear, but I'm sorry that you couldn't get the right. Great. Well, folks, this has been awesome. I think before we close out, I'm gonna toss it back to Ansa to wrap things up with us.
Thank you, Anne. Appreciate that. Awesome meeting you all. Again, I want to honor the time and space that we spent together. Great job, Joel. Your descent was actually an ascent. You did very well. So please feel good about that.
Thank you.
It's so good to meet so many of you all virtually. I hope I get to see you all in person and hopefully work with you in the future. But I do have one last prompt just to close us out. It's something that you're taking away from today's session. Something you're taking away. I'm going to type it in the chat as well. Yep. From the session today. Just a reflection around that. And I'll put it in the chat. There you go. And I'll start it off. For me, it's just, again, the energy, regardless of technology, that we are pouring into theater arts, a thing that connects us and brings us closer no matter where we are. It's just a good reminder for today. I'm just like, I needed to hear this conversation and just to be aware that other things are happening in amazing ways. So thank you all for that. So gratitude is my reflection today.
Go next. Every time I'm in an NNPN room, including today, I'm just always so overjoyed and filled up to share time and space with folks who are the excitement with which NNPN members are able to champion and advocate and just gush about plays and playwrights, even as we've had a couple today where like we have nothing to do with it. We're just like, this is a really good play and we love this playwright. And that is always a great space to be in.
I'd like to say that I've been doing this for a long time, and I always take something away from every one of these meetings. And I've been a big advocate for pitches, as Ann knows. And Nan sometimes makes fun of me at the showcases because I'm too much of an advocate, but I love this. I mean, this is, to me, this is what I feel we're here for. And I always find some play that I want to read right away as soon as I get off. Thank you.
I'll lift up from the chat, Africa, the love for the playwrights we're working with and uplifting them where we can in the network. And Dusty taking away a love for the political activism that so many new works are tackling and how many theaters are supporting this effort. And a takeaway for me is often the pitches, sometimes some of them have a connection to NNPN and some are plays that I haven't heard of. And it seemed like almost everything that was pitched today has some connection to one of NNPN's programs. That was not intentional. But as I and my colleagues are getting ready for showcase and things are very stressful, it is very encouraging to me that these plays are finding their way to you and resonating with you and giving me a little extra fuel to keep on going towards showcase. So thank you for that. That's my reflection. Jonathan, yeah.
I just, I'm reflecting on something that I don't think I've written down or had captured correctly. So I want to ask Nora, you said something about, you know, a resolution that's uplifting or something like that. And I'm really kind of trying to think about that in broader ways for my company. We're having a lot of conversations internally about like the intersection between appeal and distinctiveness. And somewhere in there is a mission that we can really reach people and tell the stories we want to tell to a receptive audience. And I'm just curious if you could articulate that again, and so I can capture it.
Sure. The qualities that we are looking for are pieces that do challenge people's perceptions and encourage them to experience empathy and learn, but in a manner that is entertaining, heartwarming, and providing some kind of hope and uplifting feeling when they leave the theater, so that they can take the messaging that they've just spent their time with and bring that in a positive way into their ongoing lives outside of that theatrical space. Is that helpful?
I'm trying to capture all this. Yes, it is. Being a sort of a data nerd, I'm wondering if you've been able to quantify that at all through surveys or anything like that.
I'd have to go back and see the specific questions. We do have a front and back survey that many of our patrons actually do complete for us, and then we also have an online feedback form for them. I do believe that's more inclusive, though, of the types of behaviors of them, though, for grant demographics and recurrences. We do ask them for feedback on the plays, like in 3 words, describe this play, that kind of thing. So I don't in terms of their feelings in their lives after they've seen a show, but it does help us at least capture people who come back. So I don't have that data right now, but I'm happy to, you can shoot me an email and I'll see if I can get anything from the office that would be helpful to you. I'm happy to do that.
Thank you.
Yes, of course.
Other reflections or takeaways?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, great. So I would say that for me, this being my first meeting and being a guest at that, this was very inspiring. Our theater company is still very young, and it's so nice to hear so many theater makers talk about their plans for theater. Just very inspiring all around. I've got so many ideas just buzzing in my head of different programming to put around plays. So I want to thank y'all for that. Thank you for inviting me into this space today.
Of course, it's a pleasure to have you. Great.
I can just share
oh yes, Nora, sorry, go for it.
No, you're okay. Just the reflection that I'm taking away really is a broader sense of community. It's very easy to get insular into the local market and the challenges that the theater companies are facing here and have that be the focus. So it's very inspiring and comforting to connect with people outside that market and across the country who are still fighting through whatever their local challenges are to produce important work. So thank you for that community.
Great. Folks, this has been a real pleasure. I'm so excited about all of these plays. Tomorrow night for the finalist Playwright Slam. Join us in April in Queens for Showcase. There will not be a member theater chat or pitch session in April as NNPN prepares for, produces, and recovers from Showcase. So if we don't see you in Queens next month, we will see you virtually in May. But hopefully I'll see you all tomorrow night. Thanks, y'all. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.